Welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on this next installment of Lunchtime Livestream, Quick Bytes. We're going to be demonstrating the creation of a website today using Google Sites. And I just want to alert anyone that's watching live that you do have the ability to ask questions during this session with the chat bar out to the right, and I will try to answer those questions by the end of our session. So let's get right into it today, because I want to make sure we have enough time to kind of cover all of the things that we need to. And I am going to start in Google Drive for the creation of a website. The new Google Sites, which I really probably can't call new anymore because it's been around for quite a while. But at this point, the classic sites is gone. Anything that you have created under the classic sites, you would convert over to the new Google Sites. But for those of you that are just starting out and would like to enter into the world of creating a website for posting information to your students or to the world, to your parents, you could do that very quickly and easily within Google Drive. So I'm in a folder where I want the site to live, and I'm just going to right click, go down to More, and under More you should see Google Sites. And then once it loads here, there we go. So we are now at the untitled site, and you can see down here at the bottom it says unsure where to begin, try a template. So, well, I missed it. we can always go back and do that if we want. But what I'll do first is I'll show you the themes, because a template gallery might actually get a little too cumbersome for those of you that are just starting out. So my recommendation really is to come into themes. So at the top here, you'll see that you have a untitled site. Let's just give it a quick name. Conway's class. I can't type today. There we go. And you can see that it populates the class, the website title here at the top as well. And so from top left, you have the name of the site. Moving towards the center here, you have the what the page will look like. And that's really one of the nice features of Google Sites, is it's considered WYSIWYG, which translates to what you see is what you get. That's WYSIWYG. And so that's just what it means. What you see is what you get. What you're looking at here is almost identical to what anyone that is allowed to view the site will see. So when you edit, you're editing in a graphical format, not an HTML format. So you don't need to know any fancy coding or anything like that. You just need to know how to insert, drag and drop, type, and make choices on certain things. And as we move to the right, the first choice that I think you're going to need to make is, what do you want your website to look like? And one of the simplest tools here is called themes. Google makes it very easy for you to pick a theme. And when you apply this theme to your website, it carries over throughout your entire website. So the style elements in your website look consistent. Now, in website development terms, it's called CSS, or cascading style sheets. Google will take care of all of this for you. It's basically one document that is a legend for your website, and it identifies every detail of your header fonts, your header color, your linked text color. I mean, anything you could think of stylistically for your website is contained in this CSS file. Well, Google takes care of it right here for you in a graphical format. So you click on themes in the upper right hand corner, and you can see I have a couple to choose from: Simple, Aristotle, Diplomat, Vision, Level, and Impression. And now, based on which one you pick, the default font style and the look of your headers will change. Impression is a nice one. We'll leave it right on this. You can see that I can change the color scheme. You know, if I have a theme that I want to run with, I can do that. I can also even pick a custom color. If I have a theme that I'm trying to keep with, maybe our class color is something specific like blue, I can do that. And then the other option I have here is, and there's only a few choices, and sometimes it's a lot easier to deal with fewer choices than it is to have an abundance of choices. So I can switch between capital, I can pick Frank. Notice how it changes right in front of you. You're going to see what it looks like. And this is what I mean by what you see is what you get. What you change here is immediately changing for your view on every single page that you create in this website. And once you publish this site, you will also, and you publish your changes, you will also share those changes with your website viewers. So I'm going to take impression and I'm going to leave it this nice blue color. And then I'm going to come to the left one tab here to pages. Now we're going to start out simple with just one page, one home page, one landing page. Some people like to just keep it simple, keep it to one web page, and as you scroll down, you add more content, things like that. That's completely okay. If you want a one-page website, go for it. A lot of businesses are starting to do that, and they're just because they know you're just going to get there one click to their website, and then they want you to scroll down. You could technically do that with this. However, if your website starts to build and develop over time, and you want to organize things a little bit more, that's where you would bring in pages, and you could add additional pages to your website. And you would do that through here. You can see there's a little plus sign at the bottom, and when you hover over it, it gives you the option to add a new page or add a new link. And one of the nice features about Google Sites is that it automatically builds your navigation for you. So you can have either a navigation on the left-hand side, you can have a navigation in the upper header bar. And if you wanted to not necessarily add a page to your website, but add a reference link to another page, you could do that by adding the new link, and it will put it into your navigation for you. You can nest your pages. If you start to have multiple pages, you can make 1, 2, 3, 4 top level pages, and then you can nest pages within those pages, so you can really build out your hierarchy. You do have to have one landing page, and that landing page is your home page. And if you hover over this, you see 3 dots. You do need to, under properties, if you ever want to change your landing page, if you add another page, you can change your landing page later. So let's say you start out, you build this home page, it looks really awesome, and then down the line you decide, well, I'm going to build out additional pages, and this page originally started as my home page, but now I want something else to be my home page. You can change what's called your landing page afterwards, and you would do that through the 3 dots on the right here. Sticking to the one page for today for the brief demonstration, I want to bring you now to the Insert tab, and the tools that are available to you here in the Insert are quite intentionally Google related, but that's to be expected given that this is Google Sites. But they do give you a lot more function, and as they build out new features, you'll see them show up here. I know collapsible text is a more recent feature. It did not come out with the first release, but has been released recently. Image carousel is another really cool feature if you want images to scroll through. So if you're creating a website for your classroom and you've got class pictures that you've taken throughout the year, an image carousel would be a great way to display those images to parents, obviously as long as the images are okay and able to be posted publicly. Always check on that first. You can use this image carousel to do that for you. And then parents or grandparents can kind of just scroll through, or children for that matter, can scroll through and recall the images that were taken throughout the year. Table of contents, if you do have a page where it's somewhat lengthy, a good example of this might be like a frequently asked questions page. Would be a good use for a table of contents. Button, simple, make a nice little rectangular button with text on it, and click it to go to a link. It's a great tool. You can insert a divider to help organize the reader. You can insert YouTube links, calendars from your Google Calendar, little snippets of calendars for giving parents notification on things or assignment due dates. A map, if you want to build in a little bit of a map, you can do that from Google. Docs, slides, sheets, forms, and charts. all things that you can add in directly to this. Now, moving above that, you see they have something called layouts. This is to help you design the look and the feel of your page. If you've never created a website before, this is a great place to start. And maybe for a home page, choosing this layout here, one image to the left with some text to the right, would be a good way to start, because then you can just click this button and you can pull in either something from uploaded, and it could be an image on your local hard drive, or it could be an image from your Google Photos. It could also be an image from Drive or some other element from Drive. It could also be a YouTube video. Maybe it's an introduction that you created for your classroom and you pre-recorded your intro to your classroom. You might want to put that on your home page. It could be also a calendar of events for the classroom, and or a map. You see you've got that option as well. And then when you click over here to the right, you can edit in this text box here. Let's see, we can type welcome to Conway's class. That might be the title. Now you see how it kind of wraps text down below. I could type text here. Oh my goodness. And you can see that it's different size, different font layout. When I hover over this one or select in it, you can see this one's listed as title. There's only a few font choices in a Google site. Again, trying to keep it simple, uniform across your pages. This is title. I do also have heading, subheading, normal text, or really small. If I go down here, you can see this is selected as normal text. I do have a few font editing, like bold, italicize. I can left justify, center justify, right justify. I've got a numbered list or an unordered list, just a bullet list. I can insert links. I can highlight some text and make it a link. I can clear formatting if I've copy and pasted from some other source. Oftentimes when you paste it into a text box on another page, you do have to clear your formatting to kind of clear out all that gunk that came over with it. I could also delete this text box, and then I have a few other options here, code font or strike through, things that you might use. So that is it for adding that element. Now I can add pictures. Let me see if I can upload a picture. I'll just pull this in. This is an image from our slide today, our session today. So there's my first page. It's starting out. Above the layouts, because I've got this general layout, I do have some insert a text box if I really wanted to start with a new text box image. Embed some code if I did have that, although it's a little more advanced, or something from Drive. But I will show you the neat little tool that Google Sites has built in, and that's the kind of rapid insertion tool, I'll call it. Down here below this, you can see dotted line. If I left click twice, double click, left click twice real quick, you can see I bring up this insertion tool that allows me to kind of just keep rolling with things. And in the center is my text box, and you can see it builds out a whole nother section. And when I build out a whole nother section, especially for this text, I do have some palette changes that I can make. This is regular. I can go to emphasis, where I emphasis 1, it kind of gives a gray background to it. I can also choose emphasis 2. It makes that nice thick blue header background so it stands out. Again, it's all because of the theme that I choose and the color choice that I chose. And then I also can put an image in here if I wanted to. But this will at least allow me to overlay some text. And it just helps me break up the page if necessary. Now I can make this heading, and you'll see that it formats it again with that blue color. So I've got a lot of options here of ways that I can kind of configure the text and the look and the feel of this website as I go. But know that you've got that double left click will bring up that quick rapid insertion tool so you can keep building out the page. The only other thing I really want to talk to you about right now is publishing this. So before we go on, I will click on settings. I don't know actually if there's anything on here. Oh, the only thing I really want to talk about is navigation. If you do have more than one page, this is where you can pick. So that's the gear icon in the upper right hand corner. Go to navigation. You can either have your top or side navigation. And the color can be transparent, or you can kind of put a white or black background. So you got a little bit of your controls over your navigation, but again, it's meant to keep it simple. So that is under your settings icon. The last thing I want to talk about today is publishing the site. When you do come in here to publish the site for the first time, you are going to need to give it a web address. Now, it automatically pre-filled this for me based on the website name that I gave it. So it's Mr. Conway's Class. It's removed all of the special characters, the period, the space, the apostrophe, gone. Web addresses need to not have special characters. You cannot have, or you should not have, special characters in web addresses, because unintended results will occur when you try to type that web address in or you click on it as a link. So web addresses are meant to be very simple. Alphanumeric with a dot is about all that's allowed, and a slash, and that's the formatting for a web address. Now you can see down below in light gray the domain is already picked for you, and because I'm in an organizational account, you can see that my domain is actually a part of this account right there. So, or this URL. The first part is provided by Google because we are in the Google service. They give us the sites.google.com domain. Then our school's domain, our organization's domain, is a subdomain to that. So you can see that it's cheshire.k12.ct.us, and then the personalized portion of this web address that is specific to me is the very last part here. If I can get it highlighted for you, you can see it, and that's what's titled up here in the web address. So the vast majority of this web address is constructed for me because I'm a Google Sites user or a Google Apps for Education user. I get to customize this last little portion. Anyone that wants to go to my website once I publish this will need to type in that web address, or you can post that as a link from another website to make it easier for them to do that. Now, before we publish, you can go down one line here and it says who can view my site, and right now it's anyone at Cheshire Public Schools. So this would actually restrict the public from being able to see my website. Anyone that has a Cheshire Public Schools domain account could see this, but if I wanted parents, grandparents, and the public to see it, they wouldn't be able to. So to counteract that and to make it a public site, I do need to click on Manage. And then I come into this kind of full share settings dialog window, and where it says draft, specific people can edit. Yeah, the draft of my site, I really only want myself and maybe another colleague to work on, and I can change that right there. But when it comes to the published website, the website that faces the internet, the World Wide Web, who can see that right now? It's anyone at Cheshire Public Schools. So I would have to change that. And I would have to change it right up to anyone can find and view the published version. That makes it a public site. The outside world can see it. And then I would click Save. Coming back to this dialog box now, you see only specific people can edit the draft. Everyone in the world can actually find and view my site. Perfect. That's the way I want it. Down here is where I would invite individual people that I wanted to have collaborate. Or maybe it's just an internal department website and you want to create it for your department. You could do that, and only these specific people would be able to see the published site. You can restrict it right down to that. You've got your choice here. But if you are trying to make something world-facing, you do need to change the published site to anyone can find and view. And then you would click Done. And then when you come back out here, you can click the Publish icon. And once that's done, it publishes to the internet and to the world, and I can click on View here at the bottom, and this is exactly what my website looks like to the world, and you can see now it's formatted kind of the way, like I said, WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. If we go back one tab, this is what I'm looking at with regard to the Google Site Editor, and this is what the world sees. If I come back to the editor and I make one change to this site, I do have to click the Publish icon in the upper right hand corner. It tells me, well, here's what's in your draft. Here's what you have currently published. Are you okay? If so, click Publish. It'll publish the changes. Now, if I come back over to my world-facing page and I click Refresh, I should see the changes occur, and there it is. It moved it to the left. So that is how to create a Google site. It's very quick and easy to get up and running and get yourself published. Again, that link that is created, let's see, publish settings. This web address right here is what you would need to give to either your parents, your students, or to someone in your district if you wanted to have it published on the district website or the school website for parents to get to easily. You could also send that home in an email, post it somewhere, make a QR code out of it. You got a lot of options there of how to get that URL out. But that is how you create a quick Google site, get yourself published and up and running. And again, this was just a simple one-page demonstration today, but if you did want to add more pages, you would do so right under the Pages tab and insert new page. I don't see any questions for today, so I thank you for joining me and hope you join me again.